that a lot of brothers and sisters have lost their lives uh, at the accusation, the false accusation. Most times it's white women, but other times it's just women in general, right? A lot of times women might sue. We've seen that. We've seen where families come forward. We've seen where also children have been utilized to falsely accuse celebrities. So my point is, we have to be very careful and mindful of how we throw around these allegations because oftentimes, uh, historically, it hasn't worked out for us. So I pulled up a few articles from Emmett Till to Purvis Payne. Black men in America are still killed for crimes they didn't commit. It's this is the Innocence Project, and it talks about Emmett Till and Purvis. These obviously we all know about Emmett Till, Purvis Payne's case. Um, but I just wanted to read a few things so that we can remember, uh, about this. So it says more than 47,000 people were lynched in the United States between 1882 and 1968, according to the NAACP. The vast majority were black, while many of the white victims of lynching were killed for helping black people, advocating for their rights, or speaking up against the lynching of black people. Through Till's story, though Till's story has not been forgotten, such racism and inequality persist today and contribute to injustice in the legal system and beyond. From the Scottsboro boys who were wrongly convicted of raping two white women to the exonerated five to Christopher Cooper, the man a white woman falsely told police had threatened her life in May. Black and brown men in America have continued to be perceived as dangerous, violent, and hypersexual. The harmful and racist stereotypes of black men as predators has contributed to black men being incarcerated at higher rates and a wrongful and to wrongful conviction. You know, that is that's one of them, right? Um, it goes on. It says in the late 1800s, claims that black men had raped or made sexual advances on white women were frequently cited to justify their lynchings. To justify their lynchings. Historians say that in reality, many rape accusation claims were false and were often used as cover for consensual relationships that were, at the time, extremely taboo, and racist beliefs were so deep seated among the white communities that whites could not countenance the idea of a white woman desiring sex with a black person. Thus, any physical relationship between a white woman and a black man had, by definition, to be an unwanted assault, writes historian Philip Dre. So you see, man, this is something that's been going on uh, for a long time. This does not exist within a vacuum. It's a continuum. But like I said, now the only difference is what we're seeing, brothers and sisters, is we're seeing the gun. We're turning the guns on ourselves. It's becoming a more internal conflict than an external. It used to be it was external. We could say, okay, we have a common enemy. We have an open enemy that we understand will kill us. But now it's almost like a virus that's eating at us. And you ask yourself, how can that be? What is it? What are the factors that are contributing to this virus? Well, I'm going to tell you what the factors are. Um, one of those factors is feminism, black feminism, right? Because there's this idea in the feminist ideology uh, that men are all, like you just read, that men are all predators and they are dangerous. And so they should be muzzled and they should be stopped at all costs. Um, I can remember telling a friend of mine years ago on Facebook how feminism had killed more people uh, than the KKK, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole mess, and I don't think they understood what I was really trying to say. It's killed more families because it's broken up the family. Because as a feminist, a lot of women, not all, but a lot of the sisters They really have no respect for the man, right? And it's also, you know, when you look in mass media, look around, y'all. Look around when you're out there. All of these movies. Have y'all noticed there's been a reemergence of a lot of movies like Star Wars, uh, Superman, or The Flash. I recently saw advertising for The Flash, where it's The Flash, it's Batman, and it's Supergirl. Um, there's this huge push to feminize a lot of these uh, otherwise or typically or traditionally masculine roles. Why is that? That's crazy. Then you watch movies like The Woman King, Wakanda Forever. Now, we have no problem. I have no problem with women being in power or being showed in images of power because, we are taught in the nation, we're taught, Elijah Muhammad said, of all subjects, history is the best qualified to reward is research. So when you research and you do the knowledge and you look back at history, you understand that there were absolutely different points where women were rulers, and we're cool with that. That's totally dope. That's totally dope. But the difference is a lot of times it's at the behest of the man or the representation of the man. So when you see a man in these typically in these movies or these shows, they are either incompetent, they are jelly spine, meaning they're weak, they're henpecked, uh, or they're super duper predatory, right? There's rarely ever a man that's well balanced, that's emotionally intelligent, and knows how to handle a woman who might possess a certain degree of power, right? So um, it's a continuum, you know, and it's not only movies, it's television shows as well. Like the show that I've seen that really demonstrates uh, the feminine perspective. Like it's a little bit of mixture of the feminine perspective and the LGBTQ perspective. It's The Shy. The Shy is almost it's been totally feminized, and what you see is what I'm describing. You see a whole bunch of independent minded, autonomous, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. A lot of well put together, or at least mentally tough, strong sisters. And then conversely, what you see in the brothers is uh, immature, childish, dependent uh, black men. And the one black man who is not these things, Duda, he's vilified. He's a villain. Not to say that he's a good guy, but when he comes into the room with everybody, it's like the whole vibe changes. You know, the climate or the degree, you lose a couple of degrees when Duda walks in. So, I mean, just watch and see for yourself, and you'll see these archetypes. You'll see everything that I'm saying. If you really look with your third eye, you pay attention, you'll see it. But it's a continuum. It's a continuum, and I would expect the mainstream, those people who are part of the 85. I would expect the 85 to be easily led into the wrong, hard to lead to the right. But I kind of shake when I hear people who are supposed to have a system of enlightenment or a system of righteousness. When I hear them speak prematurely, it really don't look good for us. It makes me think that a lot of these counterproductive ideologies have seeped into a lot of these organizations and groups that are supposed to be helping us, right? Right. A lot of times, we don't want to admit it, but sometimes we might be in an organization that's supposed to be for our benefit, but we've adopted an ideology that's to our detriment. So, yeah, that extreme feminism and all its vestiges, that is a reason why people can be so quick to throw the black man's justice and equality out the window.